I'm also.
Go ahead,
Please
Naveen.
continue, Rajiv.
Yeah, I started recording. Go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. I'm from JNTU 92 batch, civil. I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. Thanks for organizing this. I wanted to attend this just to find out a little bit more for myself and for my high schooler who's about to go to college.
So what did you say
Welcome
about
to
high schoolers? Sorry, Naveen.
My daughter is just finished high school. She just graduated yesterday, actually. She's about to go to college at Northeastern University. She'll be in Oakland in the San Francisco area. And so I wanted to just find out a little bit more about the whole AI machine learning scene.
So she's going to be in Oakland near San Francisco, you said?
Yes.
What is she going to do?
She is doing engineering right now. She's thinking mechanical engineering.
In Berkeley?
No, she's with Northeastern University. So they have a campus in Oakland in the Mills College near Berkeley.
Yeah, actually, if you need any help, just ping me privately. My sons live in Oakland.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Thank you.
Hi, Andy. Na peru Krishnaya Cheragundla. So I'm from JNTUH in a PhD I did in 2012. I'm not in engineering side, I'm the PhD in chemistry, analytical chemistry. So I'm living in New Jersey, near the Namaskal, Parsi.
Hi, my name is Vandana. I'm from JNTU Hyderabad, 1998, passed out with civil engineering. I live in Florida.
Welcome. Shobita, you want to say something?
Say that again?
No, Shobita, she's, I think, okay, Naveen, you can do one thing. We'll start the introductions a little later afterwards again. We'll catch up. And you can mute everybody and start the program. Go ahead.
Sure. So good morning and good evening, everyone. And super excited to welcome you all to the third webinar, the reinstated or reinvigorated webinar series. And today we are pleased to have Hina Saini, who will be doing a session on executive presence, and following which we will have a session by Nilima Obugari, who will deep dive into prompt engineering with regard to ChatGPT. So I would like to introduce Hina first to the forum and before she kicks off the session. And Hina, I got introduced to Hina Saini from by Deepika Trehan, who is the founder of Corporate Diva. And Corporate Diva is a program which enables all the women leaders embark on their leadership journey. So I got to know about Corporate Diva recently, and that's how a lot of collaborations are happening. And thanks to Deepika for establishing these wonderful connections like Hina Saini and all other women leaders. And Hina Saini is a versatile and effervescent leader with global expertise and passion for creating impact by coaching leadership. And she has a double MBA with operations and project management specialization. And she graduated in March 2022 from Cornell in executive management. And she has about 2 decades of steadfast experience in the IT and information security, program management, operations management, and people management. And she has effectually orchestrated multiple global service transition projects with the cross-functional and diverse cultural teams, and also catapulted several business process standardization initiatives for strategic alignment, which resulted in over $2 million of cost savings. And she's an international certified career coach and driven to transform lives of students and promising professionals who are eager to upskill themselves and bring forth a rising change in the ecosystem. And in a constant endeavor to mentor and coach budding professionals, she has impacted 150 plus lives as a pro bono effort by sharing her collective professional and life experience. And we are extremely pleased to have her do this session on executive presence, which is one of the most important aspects for anybody irrespective of their leadership level, be it at the mid-career or at the senior leadership, because every word and every action of us will be observed and will be treated. And let us learn some tips from Hina. Over to you, Hina. And thanks for accepting our invite. Pleased to have you.
Thanks for such a warm welcome, Naveen. And thank you so much, Mr. Kumar. I am thankful to each one of you for investing your time this evening, morning, as which part of the globe you belong to, and looking forward for a really interactive session. So I have included few assessments, a lot of questions, so would love to have the traffic on the chat so that we can keep it as interactive as possible, as we are not physically present with each other. So let me just get started without further ado. Just give me a thumbs up, any one of you, if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see. We can see you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar.
Yeah.
Okay, moving ahead. As I said, would appreciate each one of your interaction over the chat, and I will keep my chat box in the side to keep reading. Also, if you want, you can unmute yourself and talk. That would also be fine because we have a handful of audience and it would be good to hear from each one of you. So moving ahead, executive presence, a journey from cubicle to cabin, but it doesn't just get limited over there, because I personally feel being traversed through this journey, executive presence start right from the time one student leaves the academic career, or I would say leave the schooling career and start into the graduation academic to whatever level of heights they want to reach in their professional growth and evolution. So the very first important aspect is what and why of executive presence. What is executive presence? Let me just hear the thoughts of the audience. You can put it on the chat in as layman language as possible, or unmute yourself and say it. Anybody? What is executive presence? It's a fad these days. People use it as a local lingo also.
Some kind of guidance to the team or company.
Okay.
Who can monitor?
That's a different perspective. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar, for sharing your thoughts. Anybody else? Srini, I see you. Unmute yourself. Do you want to say something?
The one who shows his command, okay?
Oh, very nice. So I think you're quite spot on. And with that, moving ahead, basically executive presence is nothing but the gap, what we bring forth, or bridge the gap, what we bring forth as a technical professional skills to a non-technical executive skills. And how that happens in terms of how we articulate our thoughts by means of the strategical initiatives, how we influence the people in our ecosystem, and make sure that we act as a leader and not just get confined to the boundaries of our title. I see Shrikar has written something that displays leadership ability. Certainly, Shrikar, it's not just bounding to the leadership ability, it also goes much beyond that. They are the complex trait what we will dwell upon as we move further in the session. So why executive presence? That's very important. As I mentioned, that these days it is being used, and not just used for the sake of using it, but the impact is seen in the organizations. The leaders, executives in the organization are taking it quite seriously. We are not confined by our job title, and one should not also be confined by the job title. It's very important to tell your own story. It's very important to know that what you are capable of, what you bring forth to the table, what are the solutions people know you for, what are the things people reach you out for you. So that's where your executive presence lies. It's very important for you to carve your story, to build your own executive presence, and your storyline is nothing but the experience, what you have made right from this time you started your graduation. I would say, I would not even say the working environment, to the time how you have started learning to influence the people once you start taking the leadership roles, but still not yet there. adding to it the impact what you have created amongst your ecosystem in your organization or any other kind of association you are with socially also, which has resulted to the final outcome. So your storyline is all about the experience plus the influence and the impact which has created on others, which has made them align to your thought process, and finally the outcome has come. That is all your executive presence. By the way, the research says very clearly that 26% of your growth depends on the executive presence you have in your organization. And it is very important. And experience here doesn't confine to the number of years you have the experience of. I would say it's number of experiences you have in a year also defines your experience level. I hope you will agree with me. Moving ahead is about the journey from cubicle to cabin. All of us have started there, been there, done that. We confine ourselves to technical competencies when we start our career. And then we evolve as becoming the enabling competencies, where we become the enabler for others who are coming forth in this journey and trying to take that further. But what we forget in this whole chain is how we can have the executive competencies. That becomes the blind spot for us. I hope you folks will agree. Yes, no, maybe. Would love to hear that on the chat.
Yes.
Thanks, Naveen. So let me just, thank you, Mr. Gopal. Let me just move ahead with a quick exercise, which you can do it either over the chat or you can unmute yourself. We have seen that the journey from cubicle to cabin is all about clubbing the technical competencies to the enabling competencies and developing, evolving further into executive competencies. Now think of any person in your ecosystem and try to define these three things for that person. It can be a different person, like it can be three different people. And what are the competencies you will resonate to? Or any one of you can unmute yourself and say this. Anyone would like to take a stab?
Yeah, could be that enabling competencies could be mentoring and guiding the people of the day-to-day activities and what to do, what not to be done.
Absolutely.
So
and
that
how
could
about
be
technical competencies, Mr. Gopal?
technical competencies is basically that's all one who possesses, these deliverables on the state deliverables, like what should be the, if you look at the technical domain, basically we say L1, L2, L3 kind of skill sets. Right,
absolutely.
Completely on the top of the technology.
And when you have to develop these into executive competencies, how you position yourself?
Yeah, so when I combine technical competencies and enabling competencies, right, the next is going to the executive competencies, which will be definitely looking at the, making into the some kind of frameworks, how these things to be done in particular industry or technical as a leadership roles in that particular domain, right? Are looking some kind of vision and strategies and how they are going to be making into more and more into the further downline into the enabling competencies. So I think I look at the executive competencies maybe towards the top-down approach, and technical
absolutely
bottom up.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gopal. I think you were very close to what is coming up next on this. Is all about the technical competencies. Is the person who knows the market, could be exceptionally hands-on, shining out in the team, excellent in documentation, the complete subject matter expert becomes a go-to person. Eventually, that person turns into a people person, becomes the leader in between, in the intermittent to the next level, has good business acumen, could be that problem solver, that anytime there is a crack down the hole, people reach out to that person. But for us to become that executive leader, or to have that executive presence, it's very important to start thinking strategically, to have that vision, to understand the why we are doing anything, what we are putting our hands into, to tie it to the bigger picture and allow others to also walk with you. It's not taking the credit by yourself, but making sure that you're empowering others and moving with the and motivating them to do more. Making sure that you're highly connected within not just your own ecosystem of the team you're working with, but across the organization, so that you can tie the threads that how your work is impacting the other business unit of the organization. Carry that confidence, that aura and the charm in the personality, and influence other with the poise and the grace what you carry. So thank you so much, Mr. Gopal, for sharing your upbeat. We all love to do that. We all love to create, but it's just happened that the everyday routine becomes that cog in the wheel situation, and our own practice and discipline for working towards the executive presence becomes a blind spot. So let me just quickly walk you all through a quick assessment of 10 questions and help you understand that what could be your blind spots, which you can make a note yourself and see that these are the areas you might have to work on. So here comes the assessment. You have to just write, for example, the first question, I picture myself in important meetings happening differently in my mind, both before and after, then how they transpire. So if it is like me a lot, it can be like more like me a lot. So 1, 2, like me is 3, 4, 5, kind of me 6, 7. So give the scoring for all these questions, and then we will see what the score comes. It is absolutely to yourself, but will help you assess. It's your own self-evaluation that where you stand in terms of your own executive presence in your organization or in your ecosystem. It just doesn't limit to the organization.
This is Sudhakar.
Yes.
The first sentence is not very clear to me. I tried to read 2, 3 times, but it's very, it may be me, but it's not clear to me. Can you explain what this question is?
So when there is an important meeting which happens, do you have this that you before the meeting, like for example, this particular talk, I have already a notion that this is how I'll take through the complete thing. But actually, when the meeting happens, it turns out to be something else. So are you mentally prepared for it? So that is like you a lot. It's like me, kind of you, or no, not like me. You kind of get chatter about it. Did I get the message through?
Me, if it is really important meeting, I don't think I will miss at all, and I will be prepared for that.
Absolutely, Mr. Kumar. Nobody misses. What I'm trying to say, the meeting direction can turn during the meeting. So are you mentally prepared to take that surprises during the meeting?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the scoring all about. So eventually of all the questions, a score will come out, and then there is the report card for it, wherein you can see where you stand and what needs to be improved. It's absolutely for you. Nobody knows. None of the scores will be discussed over here. You can keep it in your notepad alone. So I'll just give it a couple of minutes for this slide. If I see more hands up, then I'll move to the next slide.
I'm very clear about the ratings too. What exactly you mean by like me a lot, like me, kind of like me? What exactly it is?
So suppose the first one, or I take the second one. When I receive someone's business card, I have a process for cataloging personal information. I learn about this person. Do you do that? If it is more of you, then you can give 10. If it is not like me and like, okay, might be I do it, might be I not do it. So either you can decide between 3 and 2. So like me is between 3, 4, 5. Kind of me is between 6, 7. Not like me is 8, 9. And not like me at all is only the last column, sorry.
Not like me at all means I don't do that.
No, you don't do that. So then for that particular question, the score here is 1. So eventually you have to just combine all the scores. Mr. Rajiv, you don't have to give me your scores. It's absolutely up to you.
Oh, so
Because
you want to
this
just
is the-
combine it. So combine
Yeah,
it.
you have to. Okay,
Mhm.
fine. You could have made a note, but that's absolutely your personal assessment.
Okay, I didn't understand that you wanted me to just give a total, but that's
Yeah.
fine. 30.
No, well, we have few more questions, so I'll just move to the second slide if everybody is done over here.
Yes.
All right. So the next set of questions are these. Please do give me a thumbs up if it is done so that we can get on the scoring. And keep the scores to yourself. You don't have to publish it. As I mentioned, it's completely personal and confidential.
Last two are same. Are they intentional, Hina?
Kind of, you can say that.
Okay.
So please total all your scores, and here is the division across the score. So here is your standing if you score between any of these categories. And in case if you want to just want me to go back to the screen and check it out, that where you have scored less and that could be your working area, I will just go back and you can make a note of it. Thanks, Naveen. Thanks for publishing your score. You want me to go back to any of the slides to just check? I would love to do that. Thank you, Mr. Ravi. Thank you so much. All right. So with that, let's move ahead. I hope all of you have got the idea in terms of what are the at least top 3 or top 2 areas what you might have to focus upon to increase your score and enhance your executive presence. Now, the how of executive presence. The executive presence is all about establishing your trust, credibility in the eyes of others with the help of these 3 complex traits. What is important to establish? Number 1 is the gravitas, how you act. It is very important. Please think before you act, because there are people around here observing you, listening to you, and even talking to you by their own perspective, by their own thought process. Next, very important is communication, how you speak. Again, think before you speak. And speaking here doesn't confine to the words what we take out of our mouth. It also talks about the tone. It also talks about our body language. It also talks about our gestures, what we do while talking. So speaking, communication itself is a complex art of communicating what you want to say and how others perceive it. And last but not the least is the appearance, how you look. That makes a lot of difference. Out of the survey which was done across 268 executives, gravitas stands at 67% of the need and the ask in terms of having the executive presence, followed by 28% for communication and merely 5% for appearance. But appearance makes the first impression when you enter a room. So though the percentage is small, but it carries complete aura of you as a person. Now let's see. And please don't forget that all the important decisions about you will be made when you're not talking. So it all depends how you leave your unique mixture of the gravitas, the communication by means of your appearance, and leave the imprints in the heart and mind of others. So moving ahead, how we can achieve and develop our gravitas. Now, please do tell me that what you think when you see these faces. Anybody in the chat, or unmute yourself. Why do
Inspire
we
leadership.
have presence?
Inspire leadership.
Okay. What else? Thank you, Mr. Ravi.
Recognizable faces.
Absolutely, speaker. Anything else you want to add?
Highly achieved people in their own field.
Absolutely, Mr. Kumar. Charismatic leadership, executive presence. Yes, Naveen. Absolutely. So these people, one is they keep their own presence. Very important. Absolutely all right with them to be vulnerable. Absolutely, they are okay to show their right side with confidence. They own their mistakes and they make sure that they empower the people which they are working. They walk the talk and talk the walk. They make sure that there is a command in the room when they are walking and talking, and making sure that they are at the same time listening to the people who are around them. So, and it just doesn't go without any kind of base or foundation to the information they talk. There is always the right ethos and logos which is there, and we will dwell more into it when we come to that topic. So these leaders or these personalities have the executive presence, and I'm sure all of us aspire to be one of them with our own unique flavor, because it's very important to keep your authenticity alive while evolving the changes in your persona. As per the source of Bihur Research Institute, there was a survey which was done on 200 executives, and this was across top-notch MNCs. There was 75% of the executives said that personal presence and credibility mattered a great deal. It is very important these days, despite of people working remote, working from home also, you can go ahead and create your executive presence and making sure that you're seen and heard as much as the people who is physically present. We are determined to do this, but what comes in between is the doubt, the imposter syndrome. Another quick questionnaire. Just say true or false for these 5 statements. This is from a book called Presence by author Amy Cuddy. Amy Cuddy is a social psychologist in Harvard University, and she has written many good books on executive presence and how your presence can be felt. So, and based on these 5 questions alone, she has done the survey. So almost 70% of the people come with that self-doubt that I'm not enough, or what kind of recognition or success what I have received could be just one time. I might not be able to do this again. Why is it needed to have the self-doubt? Why can't we have this conviction that what we are bringing forth is as a result of the experience, the value system, and the niche expertise what we have? That's why we are bringing it forth. So if any one of you is getting at least for 2 questions false, then it is time to look into the mirror and say it with conviction that yes, I am enough and I have it in me to do and move further. And we all go through this imposter syndrome, trust me you. I mean, it is as simple as that. Before giving this session, I had that nervousness. Having little butterflies is absolutely okay. But constantly questioning yourself that we are not enough, then it leads to taking you back 4 steps of not having the executive presence, because you tend to then share the success of your own efforts always with somebody else, which is absolutely okay, but not at the cost of not wearing the hat yourself. I hope all of you have got the answers for yourself. So gravitas. Last but not the least, the pillars of gravitas is about the confidence, poise, and the grace. How you portray yourself, how you act yourself. Gravitas is the octave of self-confidence. When you stand with tall in the room and make sure that people are listening to you. You have that integrity wherein with the right facts and with the right foundation of logic, you don't shy away from speaking truth through the power. You make sure that you're taking your people along, doesn't matter what designation you hold in an organization. But at the same time, your emotional intelligence is alive, along with the social intelligence. Emotional intelligence is all about understanding your behavior, that how you are responding versus reacting to a situation, how you are keeping calm in any kind of adversity situation. We saw those leaders in those pictures. They know to stand tall in any kind of situation without getting the situation impact their body language. For example, recently we had a train accident in India, and you might have seen the president, the prime minister have visited the site. His body language was absolutely calm, though there was so much of issue around, but he was standing tall with the boys. So that's the stance of a leader should be, that come what may, whatever situation you are in your organization, the situation should not impact your emotions. And social intelligence is about how you react to when there is a situation around you. When the people around you are not socially or emotionally active, then how you handle that social intelligence. So these two go hand in hand. And last but not the least is the reputation, what you have. How people look up to you when they are stuck in a situation and you are the go-to person. You are standing tall with the right expertise and making sure that you become the door to knock in case if something is falling. So that's about the gravitas. As I mentioned, most important decisions about you is taken when you're not in the room. So it's about you leaving your footprint and people talking when you are not around. So taking it from Amy Cuddy's book Presence, I would appreciate and I would really recommend this book reading to all of you, because it's one of the book which will tell the nuances of not just executive presence, but how your physical presence should be felt irrespective of the situation you are in. So when you become present, you allow others to be present. You can help people feel more powerful even when you can't give them formal power. For example, when we have meetings in our organization with our executive leadership, we are all most of the time prepared for that meeting because there are some deliverables out of it. There are some outcomes what we have to discuss. It's all because of the aura of our leader who is leading that meeting. And when they hold the meeting with the right stance, we all feel empowered that yes, we have to achieve that for the organization. And that is the whole multiplication your magnetic aura can bring, that when you empower and encourage others to deliver results without really giving them the lurk of promotions or in terms of the monetary benefits. Of course, those are important, but as an executive presence, your leadership skills being not confined to the boundaries of the title makes your presence felt. I'll take a pause here. Anybody has any questions? All right. Taking silence as no, going ahead. Very important thing, communication. As I said, communication is a complex art. It doesn't just confine to the verbal communication or the words we blurt out of our mouth. It is much beyond that. And verbal communication just make 23% of our total personality. It's the combination of the ethos, the pathos, and the logos. Ethos is all about our credibility, wherein people are listening to you. The designation, what you bring, of course, the expertise, what you bring, and the trust what you instilled in the heart and mind of others, that yes, the work is given to this person and definitely results better than expected would be delivered. That is the ethos you establish with anybody you get in touch with. Followed by the pathos is nothing but touching the emotion. The classic examples is our advertisement, where most of the time the kids are used, unfortunately, as guinea pigs to touch the sentiments of the consumers, even though the product might not connect to kids, but that's how the marketing thing works. The same thing works when it comes to leadership. It's important for a leader to connect with their people and understand that what is not allowing them to perform better. So you have instilled that trust, that is your credibility ethos in your direct or within your ecosystem. It can be some other leader in your other business unit. Then connect with their pathos, that is the emotion connect, and then connect it with the logical, real foundation of data. Logic is nothing but the data and the underlying factor behind it. But most of the time that doesn't really play as far as you're able to connect with the emotion of the person, because that's when you're talking in their frame of reference. And logic really doesn't work when these two things get connected. So that's where the whole equation of persuasive communication happened. And remember, when I mentioned in the starting, your story, it's all about your experience, influence, and the impact. And impact can only come when you can persuade and influence others to walk in line of your thought process and walk in line with the vision of the organization. So these three play a very important role for a persuasive communication. Moving ahead, communication doesn't just define to the boundaries of what you're talking to people. It also talks about which tone you are talking, how you're writing your emails, how you are spinning the language as a leader, how much concise, compelling it is. As I said, compelling in terms of persuasion. When I say spinning the language, you need to turn the vocab around. Like, for example, one of the things can happen that these days in the organization, instead of sales executive, it is called as customer success partner. Instead of failures, it is called as the challenges or the bottlenecks. So work on your communication style in terms of enhancing your language and bringing the art of storytelling. Talk from your experience, making sure that you are giving a punch line out of it, keeping the sense of humor alive, not at the cost of making fun of yourself, but at the same time, you can include some humorous quote, you can include some humor around the situation, which is taken in a neutral language by the others, because communication is all about how you say it is equal to how it is perceived by others. That is very important. It should not happen that later how you said vis-a-vis how it is taken by others' perspective doesn't match, and that can lead to clashes. So be very mindful of that. Have that ability to command the room. When you start talking, people should get hooked to your storyline. It's very important to have a truth imbibed in a story. It can be a situation, it can be that scenario where you're starting your story with, because people just go and land their thought process in that storytelling. And then when you weave around the facts to it, it becomes easy for you to get the audience hooked to your thought. And ability to command the room is not just about talking, it's also about listening. Allow others to talk. Communication is about listening also. Governor of Washington has told way back in 1995 that there's a reason why we are given 2 ears, 2 eyes, and 1 mouth, so that we listen more, observe more, and talk when it is needed. So it's very important for an executive presence to get established, that when you are entering a room full of leaders or even your team, please make sure that you spend at least 80% of the time listening it through, articulate your thought, position your narrative, and then make sure that you structure them in the right connotation to mention what you have observed, and be that person who concise the complete information in the summary, so that people automatically look forward to you when next time you are in need of something like this. Keep making sure that your body language and the posture is absolutely positive. You are inclining toward the person, listening to them, showing that you are completely into the conversation or that meeting. And vis-a-vis on the reverse side, suppose you are talking to somebody and you feel their body language is not something which is welcoming, or they might be in a hurry to leave. So make sure that you are reading that through also. Communication is always a two-way process. And for you to have that executive presence, it is important. Suppose you find the other person is looking at the watch again and again and is not keen by their different gesture or looking here and there, then you can say, I noticed that you might be in a hurry to leave. Can we talk about this later? So that will show your mindfulness that you are with the person. However, you are reading the person also. So it's important to keep the communication mindfulness always ready. So as I mentioned already, that how we say it should be equal to how our message get perceived, because otherwise it can lead to miscommunication. And most important is hearing what isn't said. Please also observe the body language of the people in the room you are in, or the conversation you are in with one-to-one. Even when it is over the video, it's always encouraging to keep the video on. From your side, suppose the other party, if you want to have your executive presence established, make sure that your video is on, so that the other person can read it. And trust me, you 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, I have personally done it. The 4th time, the other person will be ready in the call with you to keep their video on, because you become that compelling factor for them to have the equal body language interact from both the sides. Moving ahead with the last complex trait is appearance, though it got only 5% of the fact, but it is very important aspect. So dress for the role you want, not for the role you are in right now. It is very important to be groomed and polished, whether it's a physical presence or whether it is over the video, because it's first what your eyes will see gets the immediate line of judgment. Unfortunately, we live in that unconscious bias always. So please keep yourself groomed and polished. Make sure that you have a healthy body to keep your mind active. Take care of your health. It is equally important, because that shows that if you are concerned about yourself, then equally you will be concerned about the organization, about the people who are working with you, and you are active towards the things for these small nuances. Keep your attire modest and have that flair. Understand your style. You don't have to really copy anybody. You don't have to go for the lucrative brands. You can still get a nice fitting clothes in the economics you want to buy your wardrobe for, but make sure that it is neat, clean, upkeep, and up to the organization. These days, unfortunately, we have the culture that everybody is accepted in any way. You can come with floaters in the organization. Unfortunately, that is still not seen in the right light. Imagine that you are stuck with one of your very senior leader in an elevator and you are not dressed appropriately. I would not say even shabby. And you would like to crack a conversation, but the confidence, which is the gravitas, immediately get impacted because you are not dressed to the occasion. You might not even want to say hello to him. So just make sure that the bare minimum modest dressing should always be done. Doesn't matter whether you are doing it online or offline. In fact, online it becomes more because only your headshot is seen. So make sure that you are dressed to the occasion. Stand tall, keep your persona dynamic. People should look up to you. They should follow you. Have that aura built. Do that mirror exercise. Say to yourself that you have the confidence in. Whenever you talk to someone, get your passion around. Make sure that it's coming from your gut and you are really reflecting that in your body language, in your voice, in your eyes, and the tone in terms of how you do the modulation. It is very important. So while we saw these three complex traits of executive presence in terms of the gravitas, communication, and the appearance, it is very important to have them built by who you are. So may I know, who are you? Anybody on the chat?
So what is that one you want to know?
That's what I want to know, Mr. Srini. Who are you?
Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, leader, okay?
Oh, very nice. I'm so glad to hear that. Okay. Anybody else? I'll come back to you, Mr. Srini, on this. Thank you so much for sharing. Anybody else? If you see yourself in the mirror, what do you say? Who are you? Inspiring personality. Thank you so much, Naveen. Thank you for sharing.
I'm a leader and I'm also a manager.
All right, but is it really required to confine yourself saying as I'm a manager, Mr. Kumar? Leader is good enough, isn't it?
It's
Leader
not,
by
but
example.
It's also one of the things. You can say so many things, but I just said one or two.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Shrikar. Leader by example. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So we are nothing but our own personal brand. We are a brand, and it is important for us to market ourselves as much as we see the brand in the market making their own imprints on our mind. Jeff Bezos has said, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And that's what happened when you have the right amount of gravitas. You create the impact by your communication and make sure that you leave that fear in terms of your appearance in the eyes of others. And that happens basically when you do the amalgamation of how you perceive yourself when you're in the mirror, plus how you want others to perceive you. And that's become the equation of your own personal brand in terms of making sure that you have the right vision, what you want to create for yourself with authenticity, being committed to that, at the same time, evolve as and when needed. That calls your brand. It's like, I would say, the CEO of your own brand, which is nothing but Chief Everything Officer, wherein you have to market yourself, you have to evolve yourself, you have to keep working on your own growth and keep building on your executive presence. So here is a small exercise. You can make a note in case if you need that, build your own brand statement. As I just very rightly heard, just a couple of words which came that I am an entrepreneur and I'm a leader, which is fair enough, but little bit more to it would make the other person inquisitive. As a part of executive presence, in terms of communication, it is very important for you to be a conversation starter also. When you are in an event wherein you want to make your presence feel and make sure that you are not introduced by others, but you do your own self-introduction, and let that conversation going and multiply further into the opportunities. Either it could be for an entrepreneur or it could be even for your organization within network. You should have a brand statement. For example, like I am a career coach. So I say that I enable students assess their career choices to reassure their future path of progress. So instead of directly saying that I'm a career coach, you can weave your story, which reflects your ability in terms of your unique niche, how or to whom you are helpful, which is your target audience, your professional forte around it, and what you do differently. So instead of just saying that I'm an entrepreneur and leader, which is quite a savvy these days, like everybody says that I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a leader. We are in that era these days. But what is your niche in the entrepreneur journey? What is your niche as a leader? For example, in one of the earlier roles as information security program manager, I never used to say that I'm an information security program manager. I always used to quote, if somebody says what you do for living, is like, I build governance model as a business insight for my leaders, which allow them to take strategic decisions. Now, this leaves a thought in other person's mind that let me ask her more, that what she does, and that builds your conversation. And that's where I mentioned the ethos, the pathos, and the logos. You start with establishing your credibility, followed by connecting with the heart of the person. And then when the conversation starts, you connect with the logical foundation of the data. So I hope you folks can, Satish, again, leader is a very, very local, tactical word. You might want to say leader in what? What is your niche? what is the professional forte you have bring forth as a leader, and what you do differently. So that will be your brand statement. If anybody wants to take a stab, I can quickly help. Or you can make a note of these, that these 4 arenas should be there in your brand statement. As I mentioned about my couple of examples of brand statement, and it's an excellent conversation starter to connect with anybody and to build your network and to follow up on your network. Mr. Srini,
Good.
you want to say something?
No, I want to go back a couple of comments or questions
Yes,
on the
please.
previous slide. So can you go back to that storytelling and
Yes.
is that slide? Yeah, just quickly, okay.
Huh.
Yeah, so storytelling is a very powerful communication, okay, as a communication.
Absolutely. Yes.
Now, so nowadays, as it's getting global, so what I learned over the time is writing, okay. If you want to tell
Yes.
whatever before the preparation, right? Write, okay, write the story, okay. So
Yes.
and then 70% of the time we think we have something to say, okay. A lot of times, but 70% it gets cut out because there is no truth, okay, once you write, okay, and then you lack integrity, okay. So that eliminates a lot of stuff, okay. And when you write, you need to get emotion, when your emotions needs to evoke, okay, then only there is a story, okay. If you are writing just for writing, right, then there is, so
There's
once
no
there are
story.
emotions evoked, right, automatically it reflects in body language, okay. You cannot act body language. Other people can easily spot it out, okay. Whether you are involved in your story, is it genuine? That because your emotions reflect in your body only when there is an integrity in your story, okay. So then, so that part I'm sensing, I'm seeing a lot more benefit nowadays, okay. Writing, okay. So if you write and then you take the summary of the writing and that could be your concise speaking. The problem with speaking is people are judgmental, okay, and unless you're a good actor, okay, it's very difficult to have everything combined in that
You
few
should
minutes.
not also. I'm totally with you. You should not act also.
No,
It
it's
should
not the
come
problem.
out.
The problem is people have so less of attention span, okay. So I think the power right now is in the pen, okay, what you write, okay. So when you write, you think through, okay. So and then writing gives the reader an imagination, okay, about the person who wrote, okay. They are their own heroes in their life, okay. That makes a very effective communication. This is like, over the time I learned, okay. So I couldn't able to write more than one para, maybe 3-4 years back, okay. Now I cannot stop writing, okay. That's one point I want to quickly communicate. Can go back to those 3 competencies, the previous slides. There are 3 competencies you mentioned, right?
You're talking about this ethos, pathos, logos?
No, not
logo?
this one. The technical competencies, the first slide or before that, okay. So the technical competencies, executive competencies. Can you go back furthermore?
Okay, I get it now. What you're yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I was just get back to that previous, the next one, okay. Yeah. So this is, are you expecting this kind of competencies to be there in one person?
Not all in one person, but one person evolves over it. I can take my example. I started my career as a telemarketer, followed as a operational specialist. That's when I found my niche, and that helped me do my MBA, and then became a great project manager. So I moved from my technical competencies to become that enabler. And now I'm in a strategic position where I'm an entrepreneur as well as on a strategic role also. So eventually you will not have all of it, but handful of all a person evolve into to have that executive presence.
Got it. So one of the thing where many entrepreneurs in the early stages makes a mistake is, so basically I read a book, Michael Gerber, E-Myth, okay. That book explains, okay, and there's a good example of McDonald's story, okay? When see, in essence, there are three personalities, okay? So where
Yes.
one is a technician, it could be a burger flipper or a product innovator, okay? Then
True.
there is a manager, and then there's an
Right.
entrepreneur, okay? These are three complete different personalities, and one cannot have all of them, okay? So then one person needs to know exactly where their strength is, okay? So when my strength is not there in managing, my strength may be in technical competencies. But
Yeah.
the key thing for entrepreneur is other than these two, okay, where risk taking. So that's what I thought when you displayed this slide. This
Right.
is very difficult for one person to have, okay? So understanding that. No, I'm
It
not
is very
denying,
true.
but
No, it is very true. You are right. I can connect that because I have read an article about that particular book. And connecting to your example, what you have given, Mr. Srini, that an entrepreneur mindset is very difficult to have a technical mindset, like the niche of it. But what can happen the other way around, that I might not have an entrepreneur mindset, but at least I can understand the why of what I'm doing, how it will impact the bigger picture. Like it is very simple. If I am working for a simple entry level person, if you have to coach somebody in your team, you need to understand they might be working on one simple service request. For them, that is every day come work on some 10, 12 requests and go back home. But when you make them understand that this service request will impact the customer like this, and you have to finish it in 4 hours, and this is how the customer's business will get impacted, which will get in turn revenue to our organization, and because of which you're getting salary in your account every month. That's how the whole thread is being connected. So if you make the person understand the logic of what work they are doing, rather than just telling them that just you have to do this, then the impact completely change. And that's where they look up to you as a leader, irrespective of what designation you bring forth. You might not be, that person might not be reporting onto you, but your aura will be completely changed in front of that person because you have given them the bigger picture. When you understand and connect the dots, the things become much more clearer.
Right. So what I lacking maybe 2 decades back was managing. Okay, I was running a business. I wanted to go to a executive MBA. Then I realized, okay, when I went to when I talked to people, no MBA will teach how to become an entrepreneur. Okay.
Absolutely.
But MBA teaches the managing skills or many other skills. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's good to be, I think one needs to understand where they are strong within these 3 areas, technician or a managing or entrepreneur. Then they need to refine it to as much as possible. And if one is an entrepreneur, right? It's better to hire a manager and technicians and have this all emotional connectivity and all that stuff. Okay. So that could be a very successful formula.
And ask for help. Never shy away asking for help. That's another quality of a leader, that don't shy away from asking help.
So
because one cannot be good at all, right?
One quality I developed is no fear of shame and no crave for fame. Okay. Once you have that, right, then there is nothing to be hidden and there is nothing to be craved for. Okay. Then it gives
I'll
you a lot
remember
of
this line.
Huh?
I'll remember this line. Thank you so much for teaching me this.
No fear of shame. Don't be fearful of shame. Never crave for fame. Okay. That gives you enormous freedom. Okay.
Yeah. And a peace of mind, that is more important, more than freedom.
So we are not going to be there tomorrow. Who knows? Okay. So why worry? Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Excellent presentation, So
thank you so much, Mr. Srini. Thank you so much for sharing your insight. I'll just quickly wrap up in the cognizance of time. And I did see your question on chat. Just a sec. Meanwhile, let me just quickly finish it, and then we'll take up your question. So I was on your brand statement. I hope you all can take these 4 things and create your own unique brand statement. As I said, it's a beautiful conversation starter, and it can help you network a lot and build upon that network. So shine on, build your executive presence, because it's important how you see yourself. Remember that slide of those personalities. They see themselves bigger. Your physical presence, your personal presence is more important than the social presence. Don't worry about how people see you, because every eye outside your house will see you in different ways. It's important how you see yourself, articulate your values. Then please don't forget to take feedback. It is very important, because sometimes you should not grow so much in your own aura that you create those blind spots. So take the feedback from genuine people whom you vest in interest in or have faith and trust. That becomes your personal board of directors. That was taught by my coach. So have your own personal board of directors. You don't have to tell them that they are in your board of directors. You don't have to have regular meetings with them. You don't have to create your minutes, but those are the people in your immediate close circle. You can knock the doors, take the perspective and evolve, but not change. Make sure the foundations of your values and principles stay intact, and your evolution with a growth mindset is constant. So please remember that statistics aren't memorable, but people are. Be yourself, be authentic. We spoke about many statistics today during this complete session. What you will remember are the people. What you will remember is me. I'm very sure about it. So make sure that people remember you. Shine on, build your executive presence. And thank you so much for your time. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. This is the barcode.
So,
thank you, Mr. Kumar.
Hina, there is one last question. I think Sunita has asked, I want to know, how do you coach executive presence for solo entrepreneurs? Maybe you can take this question as a last one, and later on, if we have any more, I'll cascade them through WhatsApp or email.
Yes, please do that. Thank you. Thank you so much for asking this question, Sunita. I would, you want to say something? Let me stop sharing first.
No, I'm good. Love your presentation. Very nice to see it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So Sunita, I would say solo entrepreneur, one thing is very important for a solo entrepreneur is networking. That's your net worth. And that's where you create the executive presence. Make sure that you attend a lot of networking event, and make sure that any new person or in your current network, let's start with what you have rather than attending new events. What you have right now, and the people whom you can build your trust on, ask them another 2 more connects. That's how you will build your network. And have a clear goal that what you want of that person. Before you ask somebody something, just make sure that what you have for them to give. You might have heard of Dale Carnegie's book, How to Influence People. The book came back in 1995, but the theory is very clear that people, when you talk to someone, what's in it for me, that comes first. So before you ask something to someone, make sure that you are ready to offer something so that they can pay back the offer. Then comes that whenever any networking event comes, please keep your goals clear, that I might want to connect with some 10 people, out of which at least 3 of them should be a prospect. Have these milestone goals so that you work effectively towards them. Don't forget to do a follow-up. A follow-up can be just a journal follow-up in terms of like, how are you doing? We all have some 4 kind of relationship. One is very starting, where you do hi, hello, people become your follower. You might not ever meet them. You might not ever even again say hello to them. Then we have a NSW network, which is news, sports and weather talks. That is the NSW network. So you might want to discuss, you might want to decide whether you want to bring that NSW network people to your next level, who can be your entrepreneur journey help. And then last but not the least, our immediate personal board of directors. I do have an exercise on that. I might pass it to Naveen, or you can connect me with me on LinkedIn, and I can show you a framework wherein you can make a list of those people, and you can then put them, like highlight them and decide that who should go from one level to another level. And that's how you create your executive presence. Make sure that your presence is felt before your absence is felt by people. You should be present first, so that people start missing you. That is very important. I hope I could answer it in concise. If you want to talk more, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to help.
Yeah, sure. No, actually, I'm an attorney. People always
Okay.
come to me to take a help and all. But when I go back to them, they shy away. So I feel all the time like, what, I'm sharing my services, but why don't you respond back to me and all? But that's okay.
No, so
I
I'll be
just
able
wanted
to help you with few more details. Can connect on
Mhm.
LinkedIn and can give you the framework as well as few of the nicks and knacks. And thank you so much, Rajiv. My bad. I just misspelled it 1995 with other figure. Yes, it was 1936. I have read that
Yes.
book like 4 times.
Right.
I know. I remember reading it when I was a kid, and I was thinking maybe you're so much younger than me, and for you, 1995 is your frame of reference. And I hate to point that out to date myself.
No,
I've
I
read
do
the book in
remember
80s
that in
actually.
1936.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
in a
Thank
quick,
you.
in a
Wonderful.
quickly, so we have I posted our chat GPT WhatsApp group. I
Okay.
invite to join, okay, and we can
I will.
discuss some leadership and communication skills, how we can take benefit out of chat GPT, okay. I invite every other member, okay, yeah.
I will join, Mr. Shri. Definitely. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Any
just want to
regards to the life skills, more than happy to contribute.
Yeah, just want to add a quick comment. A great, fantastic job. I think it's great visibility into many dimensions, which is important for the leader to. It may not be your dimension, but it's important to grow in other dimensions that are relevant for the job. So well presented. There are many Hina signees on LinkedIn. If you can post your link here in the chat, I think it becomes easy for everyone to connect.
Yes.
Thank you once again.
Yeah, Naveen
Thank you so
Samala,
much.
can you please put that into our directors and okay?
Yes, I'll do that. And in the interest of time, I request Sudhakar Uppalagaru, Executive Vice President of JNTU Alumni Association, to thank Hina for presenting this wonderful session.
Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you, Ina. It was really an excellent presentation. And I see like a lot of interaction. When any presentation makes it really useful and makes it interesting with a lot of interaction. So I see like Srini, Praveen, a lot of you interacted a lot and you had a number of questions. So that gives an indication that your presentation is felt by the people. They are listening to you carefully. So if they are just joining and not doing it, they will not have any questions. So I always feel that the questions are there means people are really focusing on learning and understanding. So it's very definitely, it was a great presentation and I'm sure people have learned at least something out of that, right? So we being the technical people from most of us or all of us are the technical background. A lot of people think that I have the technical expertise, nothing else I need. It's not true. Technical expertise is maybe 1/3 of what you can achieve, but remaining is really your presence and how do you really impact your like organization, or how do you really make your presence felt? I think that's where we need to learn. We need to have that executive presence. It's very, very important. So it's only my only I wouldn't say like sure, but this for 45 minutes or 30 minutes is not a good time. It has to be at least a couple of hours to have a nice presentation with nice feedback. But again, webinar, the focus is small, so we have to do it in a shorter time. But I'm sure like we'll come back to you with more questions and maybe reach out to you for another follow-up presentation. But thanks a lot for a great presentation. Thank you, Hina.
Thank you, Mr. Sudhakar. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. Lovely having you here.
So now that we have learned the nuances of executive presence, I think it is time for us to simplify our lives with the right prompts. And the topic is ChatGPT prompt engineering. And I'm pleased to welcome Neelima Wabugari for this session. She's a seasoned entrepreneur with extensive IT experience of over 2 decades. And she's a certified data scientist with a degree in data science from Johns Hopkins University. And she has a MBA from Symbiosis and a BTech from JNTU. Her entrepreneurial stint is focused on consulting and training in area of data science and artificial intelligence, and also relevant related technologies. She's currently CEO of Tara Technologies, a marquee AI and machine learning competency and consulting firm. And her IT experience spanned giant IT companies, including IBM. She's now embarking on an innovative product in AI space through testaing.com. She has recently been conferred the prestigious Women in AI Award, which is given to women leaders in data science and AI. She's a strong innovator and has filed 3 patents in the area of artificial intelligence and provided innovative solutions to over 20 AI consulting projects at marquee clients. She has the distinction of having trained over 2,000 students and professionals through various enterprise and B2C trainings in areas of data science, AI, and machine learning. And her trainings have been very well received by students as well as corporate employees. And with that, I would like to welcome Nilima Vabugari to take forward this session on ChatGPT prompt engineering. Super excited to have you part of this.
Thank you. Thanks, Naveen, for the warm welcome, though it was a little lengthier, I guess. Yeah. Thanks for all of you for listening to the introduction patiently. But yeah, going forward, the session will be more interesting and all ears have to be open. Yeah. Coming to ChatGPT. If I ask you the question, what is ChatGPT? Whenever I'm training, the first thing I would say is, the first question is, what is Chat? If I'm training on AI, I would say, what is artificial intelligence? But now I stopped asking the question, what is ChatGPT? I only ask, is ChatGPT interesting for you? Is ChatGPT interesting for you? For those who have used it?
Looks like, yeah.
Yes.
It's not just, yeah. Neelam, it's not just interesting, it became an addiction too for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That is great. But sometimes this addiction may may make you get into huge problems, because if you know how to use the ChatGPT the right way, you are definitely using it for your good. But sometimes it happens that just trust it, believe it. Just because you gave a prompt, you asked a question and ChatGPT responded. Just because you've read about ChatGPT in multiple media, right? Everyone says ChatGPT is doing wonders and you just believe it and then use it. Sometimes you can fall into big troubles, and those troubles are not simple ones, but they may take your life. Again, I don't want that to happen, but you can use ChatGPT for your benefit only when you know the right prompts. So I know most of you would have learned the right prompts, but again, just to put it comprehensively, I'll start from the basic prompts. Shall I directly jump into the session of hands-on, or you have any questions? Maybe there are any questions.
I think we can jump into hands-on, because previous 2 sessions covered the basics and advanced, and now our folks are interested more in terms of how do we ask the right questions to get right answers.
Okay, fine. So again, I attended Hina session, the last part of the Hina session. So thanks, Hina. I know you've given some information, at least what I understand is about the communication skills and how you can brand yourself at a personal branding front, right? Now,
for those of us who did not attend the previous sessions, would you please summarize very quickly, if that doesn't take time from others, so that
even I have not attended the previous session, for your information, but again, she was giving more on the presentation skills, and the last part of the session, last couple of minutes, which I heard was, how do you brand yourself? So she was giving tips and techniques.
No, I meant the previous.
I think Rajiv is referring to ChatGPT 1 and advanced session. So Rajiv, we all started with the application of ChatGPT in our day-to-day professional lives and various domains it caters to, and that was presented by different speakers altogether. So probably what we can do is we can have some focused questions coming in the chat window, so that Nilima can take them before jumping into the demo.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Though this session is not a continuation of the previous sessions, so it shouldn't really matter, is what I think. But again, I'm open to all the questions.
And there are recordings of previous sessions, and someone will publish that if anyone is interested. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So I'll share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
So those of you who are trying to do hands-on can log into chat.openai.com. And you may log in using your Gmail account. It depends on the internet bandwidth, but again, chat.openai.com, then you will come to a screen, something very similar to this. Are you all there on the screen here?
Yeah, we are seeing your screen.
Yeah, you're getting the same screen, right? So we are only focused on how to use ChatGPT. ChatGPT can be used for multiple purposes. To start with simple usage, I would probably ask how to brand yourself on the internet. Right? If you have the same question, you will probably go to Google and then search for it. Then Google comes out with hundreds of links in which you're not sure which is more relevant, right? Probably the top ones are sponsored ones, and later ones, again, based on the branding they're doing or based on the usage, that will be listed. But here, I'm going to ask the same question. You get many answers, and I'm sure the answers you have gotten, each of you have gotten, is different from what I have received over here. So now when I ask it how to brand yourself on the internet, it has given define personal brand, consistent online presence, craft your online voice, build a professional website or a blog, and produce valuable content. That way there are many things. Now I want to actually know how to have a consistent online presence. This is one of the options ChatGPT has actually given, right? So I'm going to ask it the same question. It starts listing me many things. This being a simple question, probably I would have understood it. But in case the question was maybe how to create a deep tech product like ChatGPT. It says identify the problem and opportunity, research and gather data, build a talented team. Everything looks fine because when you read it, it looks fine. But when you have to implement it, because you're planning to start a deep tech product company, don't you think it looks very, when it's like you're reading some book, right? So what you can do is you can pinpoint to that question, that particular point, which you're not really sure about it. So develop the underlying technology. So how to develop chat LLM. LLM is large language model, ChatGPT. I would probably say how to develop a ChatGPT like product. Define the scope and purpose. Yes, this is generic. Gather and prepare the training data. Okay. Now, pre-process the data. There are many options that are listed. Now, every question you can go and then ask a particular, you can further down, you can ask that particular question and it gives the response. But sometimes you may not even like the response that the ChatGPT is giving. So what you can do is you can regenerate the response. In this case, it's still generating the response. It's too lengthy, right? Let's say you just heard about ChatGPT and then you wanted to know what it is exactly at a very high level. So what you can do is, you can ask, even when the response is generated, what is ChatGPT? Explain it. Five-year-old. Explain it with the perspective of a 5-year-old. Don't you think this is simpler, right? I mean, all of you know what ChatGPT is. So probably you can probably go through all of it, but a person who wants to know what ChatGPT is and who doesn't have much of a time. So what he can do is he can write it something like this, explain it with the perspective of a 5-year-old. Now, let's say you are not happy with this response. What you can do is you can say regenerate the response. When it regenerates a response, it actually gives us an option of voting for it or against it, whether it is good, whether it is better than the previous response, or is it worse than. I just say it's better. The reason it is asking this is just because it is a language model, large language model. ChatGPT is a large language model wherein this AI product, which is built on NLP, is an AI product based on the data that is fed to it. Now, when it takes your input, when you say it is worse or better, this input acts as an input which will be used in the reinforcement learning, or when it can rebuild the data, the text data, and it will learn to improve itself. So this particular feature is only to help the ChatGPT improvise it. Now, I have helped it, but now let me share you some other examples. I wanted to speak in some other language, let's say Hindi. Okay, now I want to use Hindi translation. I want to say, how are you? Rephrase it in Hindi. Tum kaise ho? Okay, now how are you? Rephrase it in Telugu. It has given an output, right? One thing is, now I'll ask it, what are the name some popular movies? So any question it asks, the beauty of ChatGPT is it considers the context. So now I have asked it some questions, right? Now, if I ask a follow-up question, it understands that this question is based on the information that it has given us out as output in the previous question. So that is the beauty of ChatGPT. In the questions that I've asked, they're very simple questions. But now let me show you an example of creating a simple HTML page. Okay. Now, if I ask ChatGPT, let me tell you, for one to use ChatGPT, the person need not know programming, because many laymen, I'm sure in our community, the people who are attending the session must be knowing or all from technology background, right? So programming is not a big deal. But when you talk about AI or AI software, at least a couple of years back, till 5 years back, you can say, people were scared. We don't know AI, so how do we use it? ChatGPT, the beauty of ChatGPT or any other prompts like Alexa or Siri or BERT or many others, is the person actually doesn't need to know any of the technology. In case of Siri and Alexa, it's only a oral interaction, right? I ask the time and it gives me the time. It even doesn't remember the context. Oh, I'm sorry. Alexa, shut up. I'm sorry, Alexa started responding. Now, in the case of ChatGPT, because it LLM and where the input and output are in the form of text. By the way, in ChatGPT 2, we can have a oral conversation, but keeping that aside, now using ChatGPT, we can even get programs. We can program huge projects. But again, you need to have the understanding of the programming. In this case, for me to show an example, I would like to share an example of creating an HTML page, okay? Create an HTML page where name and age are given as input, okay? I haven't done anything. I just gave that input and it is happily creating an HTML page. Well, friends, HTML is easy, right? But even this ChatGPT also can help you create Python programs, even deep tech programming. Well, because of lack of time, I may not be able to focus on the programming in deep tech, where I have created a product on the fintech too. But the beauty of ChatGPT is it helps you in programming. Now, this is an HTML that is generated. And now, I'm saving it on my desktop, naming it as page 1. I would like each of you do that. Any questions? Are there any questions?
Yeah, one question is from Srini Bhattu. He says, did you try ChatGPT 4?
No, this is not ChatGPT 4. This is ChatGPT 3.7. ChatGPT 4 is not it is not, you don't have any free version over there. ChatGPT 4, you have a premium version, but not a free version. This is 3.7.
Did you try Nilima ChatGPT 4 by any chance?
No, I haven't tried. I haven't tried. You need to try it out only when, I have not tried because we are fully focused on the product, but no, we haven't tried it. But ChatGPT 4, I know the features. You can also generate images. That is the beauty of ChatGPT 4.
Right. And it also takes images and input also, I think, right?
Yes. Images and oral input is possible in ChatGPT 4. But again, I personally don't think it is of a much use for people like us who are more into programming and entrepreneurship. But again, people who are on the video editing, definitely that is very helpful. Even as if you're writing blog articles and you want to have some images, relevant images, which are not copyrighted. So you can generate it from ChatGPT 4. But again, you have to mention that this is generated by ChatGPT 4.
Is the prompting is different in ChatGPT 4? Is it?
ChatGPT 4, the prompting is possible through text, through voice, and through images. Here it's only text.
Yeah, thank you, Nilima.
So, who is the other one who had? Was it Srini Bhattu only who was asking me this question?
Yes, that's right. And there is one more question by Srikar. He asked, can you compare this questioning with plain conversational English, please?
Sure. Can you compare, is it?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Can you compare this questioning with plain conversational English?
Yeah, this is Srikar. So basically, if at all there is how you ask a friend versus how you ask ChatGPT. I don't know much about prompt engineering. That's one of the reasons I'm attending this today. So if there are differences or similarities in how you ask just a ChatGPT versus how you ask a friend, that's what I want to
hear. As you asking a friend, okay? Only thing is, because this is a robot, your friend may not help you create HTML programs, or your friend may not help you create deep tech products unless until he's a techie guy and who is very close to you, right? But ChatGPT is open to help you in any aspect. Only thing, as I said, you cannot trust ChatGPT just like that. And this being an HTML page, you can simply trust it because HTML is a basic programming. And Srikar, if you have any question, Can you, some simple question maybe you can ask it in a simple word. You can ask it, I'll try it out. Okay.
Like from using voice?
No, yeah, ChatGPT 3.7 does not have robust voice input. So you have to try voice input only in ChatGPT 4. In 3.7 is still text. Okay, so for me to try some simple question, okay.
I have a question.
Yeah. Okay, let me take your question a little later. I don't know who it was, but let me take it because Srikar was asking this question. So I have something interesting to show you, Srikar. You know, ChatGPT, unlike your friends, can also help you write poems. So I'll just try one. Okay, write a poem on digital marketing. Write a poem on. See, it is generating the response now. Okay, it's still generating. Okay, it's already it started generating, but it didn't stop. Have you noticed? Okay, in the ream where technology thrives, a poet's words begin to jive. Okay, now I'll limit it. Write a poem on AI in 100 or in 20 words. Just giving some number. Okay, you can try it out. You can vary the number of words. A marvel of innovations, might, intelligence, born from lines of code, unleashing the possibilities infinite, transforming our world as fortune unfolds. Don't you think it's good, right?
Yeah, but is it going to be same for everyone who is going to?
No. This is a language model. It's like this. All this ChatGPT or BERT or Alexa, Siri, whatever. These are all large language models. That only means that large language models are AI products. Model is a product in terms of when you talk technically. These are built using huge amount of text, and based on the knowledge it has, or based on the insights it has derived from the text, it will generate an output. So it is not like a simple programming that we have been doing from ages, where you say, someone asks for a poem, just give this as an output. No, it's not that. Now let me try the same one. Now I say regenerate, or maybe write a poem on AI in 20 words. The same, the prompt is the same, right? Have you noticed? This is different from this. And here I have an option, thumbs up or thumbs down. Let's say I give thumbs up. When I give thumbs up, it remembers that Nilima likes poems like this. And the next time when I ask a similar question, let's say, I may not ask about poem, right? But generally, it understands my interests, my conversations, and based on that, it gives a similar output, just like a human being. If you ask your mom or dad or a friend rather, you ask them something, and as you start interacting with it, the more you start interacting with them, the more they understand your habits, right? And your likes. Based on that, the response changes. So your friend may not respond the same way with me the way he responds to you, right? This is similar.
Nilima.
Yep. Yeah.
Most of our members are engineering professionals from JNTU. So, and second is majority of children, okay, at various stages, high school, middle school, or college, okay.
Yeah.
So, when we have a web, I think I posted in the group WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp group of ChatGPT 357 members. So so we have, when we started about a couple of months, we made some progress in what ChatGPT can do, but there is this stumbling block. Okay, how can we take full advantage of ChatGPT? It's like an intelligent assistant. Okay,
Yes, yes,
Can
yes.
you, if you have time now, can you focus a bit more on the practical side, okay? How an engineer can enhance his professional life, okay? So professional career. And the second thing is, same thing is as parents, right? We always have, and everybody's, one common thing with parents is children are their the most, what you call, number one priority.
Yes.
So for everyone, okay?
Yes.
How
Yeah,
can,
it's a full preparation. But again, we can't lose our career for this because our career is for their sake itself, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
again,
So
trying to use
how can,
technology and to help you spend quality time with your children. Can
yeah,
I?
so how can we how can parents utilize ChatGPT in advancing our children's, when high schoolers getting into good colleges, and once they get into good colleges, getting into good internships, and likewise, okay. So basically an education career progress, educational progress. So can you, I mean, if you can think of some prompts, I would appreciate that, okay? If either in this session or we may bring you back in another session, okay? Or else I would appreciate if you can join our ChatGPT group, and there also we can engage, okay? Just giving some the ideas, Nilima, okay?
So I instantly cannot think about any example, but let's say your son or your daughter are may know your location. Is it in India or US? Maybe I
I'm
can
in
ask.
Fremont, California, but both my sons are graduated working. But in general, for our alumni members, okay, that seems to be the need, okay?
So if I had to give one simple example, which I have already tried it, okay, it's not for my children are also grown up. So this is where a person like us, an engineer like us, can use ChatGPT, help himself or herself in feeding a 5-year-old baby or a 2-year-old baby, let's say. Now, let's say what is share it. I'm just giving you a simple example, 7-day meal plan with 1,000 calories. Indian meal plan, I can call it, okay? Okay, now it has given me the list, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. Generally, people go for a healthy diet nowadays more, right? Now, let me make it. Give me a healthy diet plan, making it interesting for my 5-year-old. So here it has given me whole grain pancakes and waffles, right? You may not like it, but your son or your daughter may like it. So you can actually modify the prompt to make it more interesting. Okay. Now I'll repeat the same question, but give me a healthy diet plan with stories in it for my 5-year-old girl. Have you noticed? Certainly, incorporating stories into mealtime can make it more engaging and fun for your 5-year-old girl. Here's a simple one-day healthy diet plan, the Magic Forest Adventure. Once upon a time, it is telling a story, okay? Now, you can narrate the story, a long time you can feed your baby. I'll come to your example also, Sriniji, but you can try this out.
Yeah, then this I understand, Nilima. So just focus.
Now you are asking about your undergrads, your sons who are in undergrad, okay? And now probably
Not just my sons, in general, high schoolers and undergrads, educational needs, okay? And second is, we as engineers, right? And our career progress and also in leadership or other activities. So how we can, it could be hobbies, it could be volunteering work. So that we need some guidelines, leads, so that we don't have to scratch our head in learning from YouTube. Okay, that kind of help is needed. Okay, so I know that is a primary. Pardon?
Can I talk about LinkedIn presence then? Do you think that will be helpful? LinkedIn presence.
Yeah, I'm listening, thinking. Okay, that's fine. Okay, yeah.
Or maybe you can specifically mention about one thing. I can probably think about it.
Good question. Okay, so then how about like let's what could be the common thing for engineers? Okay, to excel. Just like we had a topic before, right? Leadership and communication. Then so that could be one aspect of education engineers might lack. Okay, when we can focus on communication. Easy. What is her name? Is she there? The previous presenter, Ina, is there, right? Yeah, we can focus on that. Okay, how engineers can excel in their. How can they excel in leadership? Okay, or how can they excel in persuasion? How can they excel in communication? Okay? Because we have
what I understand is right now, the leadership roles are evolving, and most of the leadership roles, most of the leaders are realized or recognized when they have better social media presence, right? How do you get social media presence? Gone are those days when you just put some images or pictures that you have taken, right? Now, most of the social media presence or you being recognized as a leader is possible only when you share the content, share your own content. It can be in the form of text, writing blog articles, or it can be in the form of videos. So when you come to text, you may be thinking, not you, sir, in particular, but anyone, you as a person may be thinking you do not actually have the skills, writing skills. So ChatGPT that way helps. Now, let me show you one simple example. I'm just trying it out outrightly only now. I haven't tried it before. Okay. So
right.
I asked ChatGPT, what is the most prominent topic people are searching on Google? Prominent tech topic, because I don't want to. I don't have real-time access. Okay. However, some perennial prominent tech topics are artificial intelligence, blockchain technologies, virtual reality, augmented reality, Internet of Things, cybersecurity, data privacy, cloud computing, serverless architecture, big data and data analytics, robotics and automation, cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, 5G technologies, and wireless networks. Now, let's say I want to write an article on AI, but again, AI, there are plenty of topics. So what is a prominent topic in any technology that comes into picture, any new technology? How is a technology useful in healthcare and fintech? Fintech is finance side, right? These are two burning questions. If a new technology has come, how is it helpful to me? It can be in the form of improving your health, or it can be in the form of end of the day, how beneficial are you with the technology? So let me say, what are the topics in AI, most trending topics in AI. Okay, deep learning, generative. It is giving the technologies. See, AI ethics is the most trending topics, where responsible AI and AI ethics are the most trending topics. Our product is also in that, where you talk about ethics. But again, if you directly jump into AI ethics, it may not be the right thing. So you are wanting to ask because you are not happy with the response. As of my knowledge, what are the most trending topics? But I want to write a series of posts. I want to create a series of posts on AI. List some of them. So it has listed introduction to AI, types of AI, machine learning explained, deep learning demystified, AI in healthcare, AI and ethics, AI in business, natural language processing, computer vision and image post, feature of AI. So there are many things, right? Now, you may be focused on introduction on AI, right? But you're not happy with the title. Rephrase. I'm giving you some examples, Sriniji. So you can come up with multiple questions. Rephrase. Rephrase introduction to AI as an interesting blog title. Does this prompt sound interesting? Easy to understand?
Yeah, that's fine. Good.
I'm not happy about it. Okay, so I'll regenerate it. Unleashing the power of artificial intelligence, a journey to the world of AI. Do you think this is good? Is it better than the previous one?
Yeah, that's fine, but you can always say dramatize it, or you can do so.
Yeah, that is what I say. Then now I was talking about the online present. Now, let's say I want to write an article. No, though I'm showing you the way it is written, but please remember there is a copyright. There are copyright issues when you copy the content that is generated by ChatGPT. But it will help you understand what all topics have to be covered, what's the content to be covered. So please never ever copy and paste the content generated by ChatGPT when you're writing or when you're publishing an article or a post or even your LinkedIn article. Write a post on So it has given me, there are many chapters. It's actually generating huge content. So I'll stop. Okay. Now you may find it to be very lengthy. So what I would do is it has created a poem introducing AI. Okay. Now let's say coming to your point. Now let's say your son or your daughter, your child has attended a programming training on AI, artificial intelligence, and now she is planning to attend an interview. So you can even ask ChatGPT, what are the most important interview questions So what is backpropagation and how does it work in neural networks? So a person who is planning to attend an interview on AI should also get comfortable in neural networks. That is what it means, right? What is artificial intelligence, machine learning and deep learning, etc. Explain the concept of supervised learning and provide an example. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Now, Python programming language is most commonly used in machine learning. So what I write is, what is supervised learning? Give an example in Python. I have not even asked what exactly I want. I didn't ask what is linear regression or first. It has even generated a code form. Test the above code. And what are the interview questions? Okay, what are the, okay, how is the specialization CPS? And do we have good prospects for career in CPS. Do you think this question is better?
What is CPS? I'm trying to understand quickly.
Okay, CPS is cyber physical system. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Cyber physical.
So the questions which attracts most of our groups, WhatsApp group members is, how can we make more money? So money is how
Sure,
can we
sure.
make more money?
Yeah, more money.
And
Okay.
marketability in the with the ChatGPT skills. Okay, that would be one focus. Okay, so that will be interesting to many people. Okay, so
Sure.
what see so the problem is there is this mountain assistant in front of us, and we don't know where to start. Okay, so it is so that sometimes exactly what we need also we may not know, but we know there is a lot of potential. So that then step by
I
step.
understand. So now, do you think stock market trading the right way will help you out if ChatGPT helps you in creating a program like that? Because ChatGPT is a language model, and this version of ChatGPT, the data that it was trained on was in September 2021. So it cannot directly take the current value of the stock trading. Let's say you're talking about Apple, you're talking about Apple stock. So it cannot get, but it can help you create a product which will analyze the trade that is going on, and then it can automatically buy. Do you think that will help?
Yeah, that definitely okay. So
that will help, but it's a long thing. It takes good amount of time, and there is a good amount of understanding also that is needed. But again, if you are planning to think about generating money with the ChatGPT, the only option that I can see in front of you is probably creating content, writing books out of it. Again, when you're creating content, as I said, there is a copyright violation. So you can use ChatGPT, create wonderful, interesting, sorry. You will see. Yeah. Let's say you're writing a book and you want to be more popular with the book. So it is giving you the table of contents that are possible. Okay, now let me talk about what is bias and fairness in AI. Let's say you understood everything, but you didn't understand what is bias and fairness in AI. You can pinpointedly ask the question. Okay, after this, I'll explain you something else. Probably that will be helpful to you. Okay, it has explained what is bias and fairness. Bias and fairness, AI can also be biased. It is biased based on the data. So if the data that is fed into the AI model is biased on one particular feature, in that feature on one particular data item, then the output that is generated by the model is also biased. That is the reason biased. And now AI is used everywhere, right? Whether it is healthcare or even for deciding going forward, that was the plan going forward. Even for electing a person as a country head, probably AI will be used. So, but when we use AI for such big reasons, we need to make sure that AI is working properly. It is not biased and it is fair enough. So we have our tool, as I said, AI Ensure tool is helpful in detecting the bias and fairness. This was one example. This is the way you can create a book. Now, let's say you want to analyze the fintech data. Right? Any data scientist would do. What is the role of a data scientist if he has to work on a product, let's say a fintech product? Now, the important question that comes up when you're working on a deep tech product or any AI product is the data. Where do you get the data? Where do you get the real data? Now, if you ask me the question, I want to create a fintech product, Nilima, but I do not have the data on the different banking transactions. Where do I get the data? Right? I would probably say you may have to go on Google. But now, after ChatGPT has come, I just tried it some time back. Okay, where do I get the fintech data. I'm just mentioning as where do I get fintech data? It's listing publicly available data sets, financial institutions and fintech companies, regulatory bodies. And wherever I'm getting the data, I don't want to pay money because I don't want to pay any commissions. That is the reason I'm asking ChatGPT, because the sources are huge. But when I Google it, only the sponsored links come in the top. If there are any locations or URLs where I get the data, which is free of cost, it may not be listed. So let me go to financial institutions. So I would ask ChatGPT, name some of the financial institutions. Okay, there is spelling mistake, but let me keep it understand where I can get the fintech data for free. Vast collection of economic and financial data. Okay, it covers indicators including interest rate, exchange, World Bank open data. How do I access World Bank open data? Okay, visit World Bank website. On the homepage, you find the search bar where you can enter the keywords related to data you are looking for. Example, GDP, population, whatever. And then you can browse the available data sets by clicking on the catalog. Is my screen visible where I've opened the website? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
It's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Population. I'm just trying. Okay. If you notice, there is GDP here, right? And you have an option of download. And this is a real-time data. So there is no worry when you buy data, there's always a chance of you getting duped, right? But here, this being a real data, I'm downloading it, CSV file. It's a huge data set. Okay. Now to unzip and then. It's a zip file, so I'm extracting it. For this, I have to spend some time to understand how the data is, and it will be there available on the website itself. You may not be able to get all the information about this particular data set from the ChatGPT, but you have to explore the site from where you're downloaded and then understand. And that is one of the limitations of ChatGPT. Okay.
Thanks, Nilima. Hey, Naveen, you may want to check with other attendees whether they have any questions, okay, as time is getting close before she jumps onto our.
Yeah, I have a question, Nilima. This is Kumar.
Sure, please go ahead.
So is it a combination of like Google and YouTube? If I have a question in, for example, say, where is my car wash option in Tesla Y? I go and ask in YouTube and shows me all the options, right?
Yes,
is that something similar? And
you may
what else
not
we can do
see. Yeah, ChatGPT 3.7 is not like YouTube because it only takes input as text and gives an output of text.
Oh, so no video, but it shows me the options.
Yes, yes. So as compared to Google, when you're asking a question, it gives an answer the same way as Google. But have you ever tried asking Google to write an essay on any new topic? You probably would not have tried, and even if you try, you will not get the output. But in case of LLM is a large language model. It's like a human being, a person who has read many books. Let's say you are a person who's a very good reader. Okay, reader is a person who has read many books. So if you've been reading books, textbooks, novels, whatever. So if you're asked to write an article on any topic on which you'll probably instantly sit and do that. But a person who is not a good reader or who doesn't read books may not write it, right? So this LLM has been trained on all the topics that are possibly available on internet till 2021 September. So all the text information is present here, and that is the reason it generates the output. But now any information that I ask that has happened after 2011, it will not give out.
Well, when does the data gets current or dynamically changing?
No, dynamic changing is not possible in ChatGPT. But if you go to BERT is the similar to ChatGPT. BERT is an LLM developed by Google. Okay, there you get the right information because it was built very recently. Now, if I ask the question, who is the Chief Minister of Karnataka, who was elected recently? Okay, it is Siddaramaiah, but the Chief Minister is Basavaraj Bommai because it only has the input till September 2021.
Okay, so it shows only what is in his database. That's it.
Yes. It's not a simple database. It is probably you can call it a database, but it is not a simple relational database. All the data here is saved in probably Mongo. I'm not sure which database is used here, but big data databases. Yeah.
Somewhere I read that it is Iris, you say, right? Okay, so when you initially started, you mentioned that you got to be careful while using the ChatGPT.
Yes.
So what is that? What does it do damage? Like what is the? I know other than copywriting, copying the articles which I'm seeing on the screen there, but what else is the damage it causes to the public if they don't use properly? What does that mean? Maybe I didn't understand.
Okay, fine. Basically, when let's say I ask it, can you write an article on RNN? And the RNN is relational. It's a neural network. Because this is a simple topic, it is giving me correctly. But if I look into it, if I completely read it, it is very much possible that there is something wrong over there. So you cannot just copy and paste. Now, let me show you. Let me go back to the simple example of HTML, which I had created, right? Create an HTML where username and age are given as input. Okay. Now, if I copy this HTML, this is a simple example because it is just given some values, right? I mean, some simple HTML. Now, I just create. Because I am a person who knows HTML, I understand that it is not done correctly. Okay. First, PG. This is the first HTML where name and age are given as input. And the second HTML, I've asked it, create another HTML where the input given in the previous HTML is used to grade the person. No, I have. Yeah, first page was the one that I've created, right? Is my screen visible? Oh no. Is what screen? Do you see an HTML page on my screen?
Right.
See the text.
Yeah,
It's a text message in the, yeah. We don't know what exactly it's trying to do because it is not showing up.
No, do you see user information? You see
No.
name and age fields? Do you see that?
No, it's a code. We are seeing a code.
Oh, okay, fine. So I'll stop sharing and share the right HTML. I think there is a problem there. Okay. So the first HTML I had created is this. Now you can see, right? User information
Yeah,
and
correct. Yeah, we can see.
yeah. So this is the HTML page that is created. Now, what did I ask? I had asked it, please create an HTML page where I can give name and ages, the input variables, right? And then when I say submit, it is going back to the same, because in the prompt, I'm stopping the share. I mean, I'm resharing the original screen. Okay. Now, in the way I had asked it was, okay, create an HTML where username and age are given as input. Now, again, I said, create another HTML where the input given in the previous HTML is used to greet the person. So as per my understanding, I'm right. But the output that is generated is not actually linking the first HTML and the second HTML, right? It is not, because when I clicked, if you remember, it is still there. So instead, what I would write is.
So you say that there is a bug in the.
No, it is not. Yes, there is a bug in the sense there is some change needed in the first HTML, so that the first HTML, when you submit button, the name and age are the parameters that have to be transmitted to the next HTML, like as part of get parameters, right? So the reason it has given me this output is because I did not mention that I am planning to generate a set of 2 HTMLs which are connected to each other. What did I say? I had asked it, create an HTML where input, age and name. And then I said, the input that is given as input in the first HTML has to be carried forward to the next HTML and greeted, right? So there was no connection. So this ChatGPT did not understand that these 2 HTMLs have to be connected when I started it. Now I would say, create a set of 2 . Okay. I would say, how do I connect both the HTML pages? Generated before. Now it gives me the first HTML. Have you noticed this is greeting and it says name, age, and then the next part. Greeting.html, label, name, text, and then it also gives me, in this code, we call the action attribute in the form tag to set it to greeting.html, which is the file name of the second HTML. So it gives me the complete description. So the prompt, based on the prompt, because I know that I have tried this example before even I started the session. So I know this is the right example for me to show. Any questions here? This is all about programming. I mean, once when you're using ChatGPT to come up with some products or projects for that matter, you need to have an overall understanding about how it works. Okay, only then you can actually, you can debug it also. So there is a myth saying that AI will remove jobs or jobs are lost because of AI or ChatGPT. No, jobs are not lost, but the type of work that is generated or done by the different data scientists or employees, that type of work may change, but the jobs are not lost. The productivity, end of the day, the productivity of the human beings goes up very high because of AI. Okay, another example that I think is very important because I've come up with some points. Now, let's say I go to Times of India. Okay, now let me check the. Okay, let me go to some site called some developer hub, because if I go to this particular site, is my website, my browser visible to you?
No, actually, it is frozen into the answer sheet.
Okay, how about this accounts and transactions? Is it visible there?
No.
Okay, I'll stop the share and reshare it.
You need to, Neelama, when you share, you need to share like a part, because you're jumping between the windows, and you need to share partial screen, then all your windows will be visible. Otherwise, you got to unshare and reshare.
I'm not very comfortable with sharing complete system.
I know.
See accounts and transactions screen.
Yeah, you see accounts and transactions, right? This is some of the, it's a developer hub. So if, let's say you come to a site like this is an example. Okay, this is fully technical stuff. But again, even here, if you want to understand what all is covered in this particular website, which is very lengthy, right? So what you can do is there is a command called, is my ChatGPT screen visible now?
The same accounts screen we are seeing.
So I would advise you people to go to some website, which is big, maybe Times of India or maybe New York Times. Go to the site, take the URL and type summarize and paste the link, that is paste the URL, summarize this particular URL into bullet points, type it. In bullet points. I think my screen is visible, right? Now I have given the command summarize, and then I have given the link here, the same link in bullet points, because it was a very lengthy URL. I can understand. I know you can also definitely understand, but probably you don't have so much of a time, you being in a CXO position. So, and you're heading for a meeting. So what you do is, using ChatGPT, you can just say summarize this particular URL in bullet points, because you just want to know at a 50,000 feet level, what are the important points. So it says provider URL is for the API documentation of City's retail bank, the sandbox environment for developers to explore and test API functionalities, everything, blah, blah. So this summarize, I am very fond of this summarize command. Okay, that is the reason I started telling it to you. And if I have to address that question,
Nilima, the Wing Commander Garu has a question.
Please.
Miss Nilima, I am Wing Commander Kamalakar speaking from Melbourne, third batch. Sometime back I wrote, not sometime back, many years back in 1975 when I was in IISc, I wrote a poem in German language.
Oh.
And subsequently I translated into English, kept for myself, and that German poem got published in one of the German magazines. Now, after attending the first session, I asked the ChatGPT I gave ChatGPT the crux theme of my poem in English, and in prose, in sentences, normal sentences, and asked ChatGPT to write it in German.
Okay.
So that my translation, my theme, how it is going to do it.
You wanted to cross-verify if it is the same or not, right?
Exactly. So I got it has written within no time, and except for 3 or 4 words, it is absolutely same as mine.
Wonderful.
What I have written originally.
Wonderful.
So now my question is, now it is going to be in the database of ChatGPT, correct?
Yeah.
So if somebody else asks a similar question, so will that be supplied to them? That is my question.
It will be supplied. It will be supplied. Yeah.
Then my authorship will be gone, correct?
No, not really. Because let me tell you, I think as per my understanding, I think your German poem was very popular. I guess many people have read it. Was it? Or it must be unique, if not.
I don't say it is a normal. I mean, in the sense, the theme is love. To be very frank, so the theme is very popular.
Okay.
Okay, my
so
word.
All the input that was given to all the input that is given for the ChatGPT when it was processed is the text that is available on the internet. And I think your poem was also available on the internet somewhere, right? Somewhere in some German website or somewhere, right? So based on that, it has taken that input. And when you had phrased, the thing is, we human beings are biased. So when you had asked the question, because you were the author of the poem, you had probably put the right feelings for it to come up the output. And that is the reason the output that the ChatGPT has generated, this is the output that the ChatGPT has generated. It has not copied and pasted your content at any cost. But the output that has been generated by ChatGPT is very similar to your poem. It is not exactly the same. It's just three or four words, couple of words different also, right?
Correct.
That is
correct.
And coming back to the next question of yours, where you say, in this way, if someone asks ChatGPT to come up with a poem, it is possible that your poem will be taken by them, right? They can say that it is they who have written the poem. That is the reason I said, when you are using ChatGPT to create posts, not even for poems, even for writing posts, simple text messages, right? Posts and articles are simple text messages, not even poems. Poems need some extra effort. Even then, there is a copyright that plays an important role. So if you violate the copyright, you will be in big problems. So the guy or a girl, let's say they have the same feelings as yours, and then they give input to ChatGPT asking for a poem, and then ChatGPT generates a poem. If she is publishing that poem saying that it is written by her, it is easily, there are AI softwares which can detect if the code or text, not the code, text or poem is generated by ChatGPT or written by yourself. That is also possible.
Okay, but can I have any instruction to ChatGPT that it should be only applicable to me and not to be shared among the universal database?
No, you can't do that. And you are safe, sir, because it didn't generate the same output, right? As I say, we human beings are biased. Now, let's say whatever feelings you have expressed in front of ChatGPT and asked it to write a poem in German, you say you give it to your son or your granddaughter, let's say. She would give a different input than you. Because you are the person who wrote the poem, you exactly use a similar phrases. Very similar phrases. Please try this experiment with granddaughter or grandson, maybe, or maybe son or daughter, whoever it is, some other person. Ask them to try it out with the ChatGPT. The output that is generated will definitely be not your poem.
Great, wonderful, Miss Nilima. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Clarified everything.
Sure. Suresh has a question, right?
Yeah. Hi, Nilima, I have a question. I was helping my son who is in senior to write an essay for college. So is there any way ChatGPT can help me to correct the essay, or maybe?
Correcting is difficult. Correcting, you have to have a human.
Oh, okay.
Human insight is needed. That's the reason I said they'll not replace the jobs. We human beings are definitely needed. As of now, yeah. As of now, we are definitely needed. Maybe 10, 20 years down the line.
Yeah.
Let's not wish that to happen.
Sure. Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it.
Any other questions?
You may look at the chart actually.
If you start asking me questions, I'm sure I'll just continue doing that. But
Satish is asking a question.
Yeah, thanks, Kumar. Yeah, hi, Nilima. So the question I had is a challenging thing that as parents we face with our teenage kids, especially in the high school level, right? So instead of we telling them, at least personally, a lot of my friends and myself, we see that it's challenging for parents to teach things to the teenage kids. To some extent, they learn some and may not because of selective listening. So how could ChatGPT kind of tool help them, help the kids by themselves being able to go into ChatGPT and ask the relevant questions there to figure out few things, right? Like, for example, academic advice or college application advice, or the teenage kids go through a lot of mental stress and strain from their high school activities and there's friendships and things like that, right? What kind of relevant questions they can ask, right, to manage their high school friendships. And also sometimes they have parental stress, like parents try to give too much information to the kids, right? So what are some key questions? I mean, maybe like, what is the right way to phrase these questions? I mean, not from outside, from the teens themselves, when they interact with ChatGPT, what are the relevant kind of questions they can ask and get help for themselves, right?
See, the problem with tools like ChatGPT is they're not human beings. That is the reason we human beings are definitely better than any of these robots. So whatever questions in whichever language you think, whichever language is, I said the lingo, the English words, the person asks, ChatGPT is going to answer. But you as a parent would raise an objection when your son or daughter asks a question, which you think is not relevant, right? So one thing you can make them is, you can ask ChatGPT, maybe. What are some interesting ways where I can motivate my daughter to use ChatGPT in the right way? I'm just typing it. I have not tried it. I'm just typing it. Okay. What are some interesting ways where I can motivate my daughter to use ChatGPT in the right way? And I'm sure any abstract questions like this, it comes up with relevant answers. So yeah, motivating your daughter to use ChatGPT in the right way can be done through a combination of guidance. Guidance can be done by human beings, encouragement, and setting clear boundaries. Here are some interesting ways to achieve that. Introduce ChatGPT as a learning tool. Emphasize that ChatGPT can help her learn new things, explore ideas, and find answers to her questions. Encourage her to use it in educational purposes, such as researching topics or getting explanations on difficult. You can, right? It has come up with so many.
Yeah. So, but how
you as a dad of your daughter may also know that your daughter is interested in, let's say, music. Okay, I'm just giving. I'm not sure, but I'm just saying. Can you help me? My daughter to use ChatGPT. She is very keen on music. She's very passionate. Just giving this input. She's very passionate on music. So ChatGPT comes up with its own way. See, songwriting. Maybe you can think about songwriting assistance, music trivia and history, music theory and composition, virtual brand mate, music recommendation engine, She can come up with a music recommendation engine. And then because she's interested in music. So this will motivate her. If she starts Googling, I'm sure she'll not get so much of information. So you should understand here definitely the power of we as human beings can overpower the ChatGPT or any of these AI products. So you as a human being can understand some things, abstract things about your child, and then use ChatGPT. It's a combination of our human intellect, human insight rather, and ChatGPT, through which we can come up with wonderful ways.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. So it looks like this the teen has to interact and then question the ChatGPT system to figure out a lot of things. I mean, it's a very good way to learn things faster instead of, and in the past 10 years, the way I used to do, or most of us used to do, is Google, figure out thousands of things and narrow them and then come with our own biased viewpoint. Whereas ChatGPT gives actually a balanced viewpoint based upon so much of knowledge that it has, right? So it helps, hopefully if the teens use it in that way, right way, and then make use of it, they can enhance their understanding and then skill sets and maturity levels.
That's good. I'm happy you're liking ChatGPT.
Yeah. Thanks, Nilima.
Yeah. I think, Nilima, in the interest of time, we can wind up this.
I have a small, I'm sure.
Yeah,
when you come to the winding point, I thought I'll share some other point. Please remember, all these prompts that I've taught you are only trying it on the ChatGPT, right? But programmatically, if you have heard, you would have heard about many MNCs they came up with LLMs of their own, right? Because where you engineer. So for that, also there is code that I have written, but I am in the interest of time, I may not be able to show it to you. But you can go to openai.com and then create your own key, and then use in your Python programming to come up with programs where you can actually teach your ChatGPT. In that case, you will not call it as ChatGPT, but you'll have your own name, and then train it to come up with the right prompts. Let's say you have an MNC or you have a multinational healthcare unit, okay, which is specialized in oncology. Oncology is in the cancer. And now there are many patients or people who want to know more about oncology or things like that, people who want to do research. So when they ask questions to ChatGPT may not be able to answer rightly. But when you come up with your own prompt, with your own prompt engine or LLM, it'll do wonderfully. And for that, you have to learn Python programming language. And there is a way to do that. I thought if time permits, I can cover, but I don't think time permits at any cost.
Hey, Nilima, another option is, I think, when teaching something in 1 hour is extremely difficult, but you covered many good points. What I would like is, when we have a WhatsApp group as a ChatGPT, close to 360 people, I invite you to join there. Okay, we have quite a bit of professors there, when programmers, the business guys, and all. So this kind of interaction also we can do on WhatsApp also. Okay, so I invite there. I'll post the link. I suggest you to join that. Okay, so you can always leave if it is not engaging to you. Okay.
Sure.
And actually, you can educate a lot of our people who are real enthusiasts as of today, and let's explore what we can gain out of it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not possible to know everything in an hour, sir.
Correct.
But it's a good start. Okay, so
definitely, maybe we can bring back you for a workshop like a kind of thing, so you can interact with the people, and then you can really teach us something which is we will learn from you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm open. I'm passionate about teaching AI, because my goal is AI should be reachable to common man, common woman. Okay. So it's not that there are many people, especially in India, people from the rural places, they have a perception and myth that AI is going to take away their jobs. And some people are apprehensive of AI so much so that they don't even like to use AI. Okay. So my passion is
because of the automation.
Automation. There are some side effects.
Automated, so where human beings are not required.
Yeah, exactly. But end of the day, if you see, the jobs are not lost. The number of jobs generated will be probably better than what are there now. Only thing is the productivity will go up, and that is for our benefit. Right? When computers had come long time back, 1970s, I think, there was an agitation saying that computers are going to take away the jobs of many banking professionals, right? But good thing happened is our overall economy has grown. So I'm passionate about it. Definitely, Srini Garu, you can add me into the group, and I'm coming up with many YouTube videos on ChatGPT and the usage also.
Yeah, so
And
Nilima, best is click that link, okay, because I don't know your phone number. The best is you click that link, I'll add you there, okay? So if you can copy and paste in your WhatsApp and just click that link, okay? So then you'll get to the group, okay? Then it is easier for our
Hi,
members
Nilima.
to engage
hello.
to you.
Yeah,
Which
hi.
link are you talking about? One second, Sunita, I think. Yeah. Srini Garu, which link are you talking about?
It's in the chat, okay? The Zoom chat, if you can see it. Or Naveen can also share, okay?
Yeah, I can share that separately, or you can find it in the Zoom chat window.
No, because I've opened multiple windows. I am sure I can see that, but right now it's not visible. But Naveen, please share it with me so that I can.
Yeah.
And I am available on internet. I'm Nilima Vobugari. You can connect to me on internet because at regular intervals I'm coming up with posts on different topics of AI. And yeah, on ChatGPT in particular, I'm going to come up with many more posts going forward. So you can connect.
In the future, is this going to be available for just any common man, just like a Google?
Yeah.
Okay.
It will be.
Hey Nilima, this is Sunita. Very nice presentation. Really very knowledgeable you are on this part. Next time I would like to also cover some legal perspective. I'm an attorney, so we are seeing a lot of growth and usage in legal forum as well, like creating briefs and all this responses and all. So do you happen to know any other use cases or any plugins where we can do some live? Yeah.
I have done an AI project on the legal front, on IT regulation front, basically. But
Awesome,
it's not on the ChatGPT. It's not on the ChatGPT. But yeah, if you can, I mean, we can talk on a one-on-one, probably with this lack of time. Yeah, my number is 988. I'm unable to.
No, that's okay. I think Naveen will post.
We have it. We can forward it to you.
Sure.
Naveen, can you?
I've already added. I've already shared the link, and I'll put Nilima's number in the directors group.
In the directors group, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day and wonderful presentation. Very nice of you to share your time.
I am nominated for the Globant Women Leaders Award, and just thought I'll share it. I'm from
wonderful. Congratulations.
Awesome. Wonderful. Excellent.
Very good.
Proud to be.
Keep doing good job.
So I'll share the link in the group if you are okay with it. You can go through about me. Only after you go through about me, and if you think I'm worthy enough, you can vote for me.
Sure.
Definitely. Wonderful. We will do. We have a big group of people.
Naveen, you can post that in our AA-USA group also. More people will be,
Yeah. Sure.
Great. Okay, so you take over, Naveen, and you can wrap it up, I guess, in the interest of time.
I think it's already 42 minutes past the hour, so which speaks volumes of how engaging the session was. I don't have to exaggerate or share anything else. So it was captivating, and the kind of questions and the prompts that you have used on ChatGPT is really fascinating, Nilima, and really appreciate you taking time on a Saturday evening and to cover this, for the JNTU alumni members, and really appreciate on behalf of the entire core committee here, and looking forward to many more sessions in future. Thank you so much once again.
You can unshare your screen, Nilima.
Thanks for giving this opportunity. Again, last but not the least, I am an alumni of JNTU Hyderabad, and I saw JNTU alumni from Naveen Samla's WhatsApp status. I said, come on, it's my college.
So Nilima, you join with us. We'll make you excel in your life, okay? It's in all regards, okay? Because you are working on a cutting edge technology and you're a speaker and a presenter, okay? So then, so not many people can do that, okay? Even though they have ideas and you're coming forward to share whatever you can, okay? Excellent job, excellent presentation, Nilima. Thanks a lot, okay?
Thank you. Thanks for giving this opportunity. Last but not the least. Thank you. Sir, Arkala Kamalakar Garu, I would be happy if you share the German poem of yours, just like that, because you wrote a German poem.
Sure, I will share. I will, if Srini permits, I will put in ChatGPT.
Please, sir, go ahead, okay? So, say, Kamalakar garu, you can post in. I think she's already there in the group, and that way, then we can have this dialogue, okay? So both of them there, both the presenters are there. So
Yeah, you are a wonderful resource, Nilima. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ms. Nilima.
Nilima, you also need to bring your friends to our group, okay? Your classmates, batchmates.
Yeah. I've shared this link to them saying that things that happen cyclically. I've come from this college, and then I'm happy to have a webinar with the same college, I mean, same alumni association, right? Though we may be of different batches, but again, they're also excited. If you share the
we
link.
do these webinars every month, second Saturday, Nilima, and we bring speakers like you, professionals, various topics, and we want to engage all our alumni and update their skills.
Sure, that will be great. I'm also, as you know, if you see my LinkedIn profile, I do trainings also, professional trainings on AI, data science, machine learning, Python, all the cutting edge technologies. I do trainings, both corporates.
Do you teach Python language also?
Yes.
If somebody is interested?
Yes, very much.
Yeah, okay. We are also, I think, Srini Bhattu knows, I think we are also looking for somebody who can take care of our kids right from like high school and college kind of going people.
My only thing is I do B2B, in the sense I don't do B2C, one-on-one I may not be doing, but I'll be doing at least for a group of 10 people. It's like that.
Yeah, so Nilima, we have a couple of requirements right now. One is for our high schoolers, okay, in US, from anywhere, okay. So basically, they need to know already basic Python, and then we are creating an internship project for them for the summer internship. So to interact with, to work on some projects on ChatGPT, okay. So we're looking for somebody who has expertise in that, okay. That is one, okay, for high schoolers. And second thing is, especially for alumni, okay, where like our fellow alumni, a lot of them don't know Python, but they have a lot of work experience, and there is a need for them to learn Python in like a friendly environment, more like ants holding, and these are the age group from 30 to 65 years old, okay. And then they want to learn Python, and the second step is interacting with ChatGPT. A little bit of a hand holding, spoon feeding kind of model, okay. It's more fun, okay. Young high schoolers take it as their goal is to for college application, okay. So these are two requirements. I will chat with you offline, okay, how you can help. Thanks a lot, Nilima. Okay?
Definitely, I would, because my passion is teaching, and of course my profession also, I teach. So
very good.
I'll
definitely be happy to share.
Thanks, Naveen, for waiting patiently. Sorry again.
Yeah, Naveen, you can take over, and anybody or new people wants to introduce yourself here? Oscar, you are there, you've been there already. You want to say anything? Jacob?
I think Nilima, you can feel free to drop. It's already 10:18.
Sir, Manaku, recording we can stop it now.
Yeah,
and
then we can slowly come up.
Sir, I'll also make a move. Thank you for the opportunity, and we'll look forward.
Anyone wants to drop, they can drop. So, sir, recording is stop session, sir.
Okay, stop session.
Yeah, then we can continue if somebody wants to. I think recording.